Briefly, what he'd like you to do is keep your trap shut. Why he doesn't say that? What a long Megillah that was, huh? Where's Fenneman, huh?
Yeah.
You've met Fenneman over here.
We've been out here for about a half
Did
hour.
you meet all the people? Show him your teeth. He's on for Colgate in the afternoon. You've heard their commercial. Crazy about their commercial. Show him your teeth. Brush your teeth with Colgate, so Colgate's dental cream, it cleans your teeth. What a toothpaste, what a toothpaste. I still doubt if that sells toothpaste. This is the equivalent of a brassiere. I don't know why you're all laughing. Smoke a lucky. Pudding. I carry my own air conditioning.
You won't forget to shout.
Yes. Oh. Fine-looking fellow, that Fenneman. He looks like a young Fagin.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't tell a soul, but the secret word tonight is name. N-A-M-E.
Really?
You bet your life. Elgin American, creators of America's most beautiful compacts, smartest cigarette cases, finest dresser sets, present Groucho Marx in the Elgin American show, You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here's that sterling Elgin American, the one, the only...
Nice fella, know him well. Oh, that's me, Groucho Marx. Thank you. Well, here I am again with $1,000 for one of our couples tonight. George Fenneman was first to try for.
We invited some Italian war brides and their husbands to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. and Mrs. Stuart Hart. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for Elgin American Compact, youngsters. And if either of you say the secret word at any time we're talking, you will win a 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you always have with you. An Italian war bride, eh? Well, we're very happy to have you here. Adriana, is
Yes.
that Adriana? What part of Italy are you from?
Rome.
From Rome?
Rome, yes.
And do all roads lead to Rome?
They say so.
They say so. You haven't seen all the roads, huh?
No, I'm hoping to find one.
You didn't see the Hope Crosby pictures? They have all kinds of roads. And Stuart Hart?
That's right.
Where are you from, Stuart?
Near New York City.
How near?
Oh, about 20 miles.
Where?
Ridgewood, New Jersey.
Certainly got him out of New York fast, didn't you? Adriana, are you working?
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Huh? Why not?
Not any special reason.
Well, that's a good reason. Any little bambinos?
Not yet.
Don't look at me, Adriana. Look at him. Don't look at me, huh? Were you married here or in Italy?
No, we are married in New York.
At a wedding in Italy, do they throw rice?
No, they threw confetti.
Oh, I thought maybe they threw spaghetti and meatballs. Well, doesn't that start until after the wedding? How did you meet Stuart here?
I met Stuart in a very strange way. My sister was sick with pneumonia, and
What do you
The
mean
only-
pneumonia? Is that her boyfriend?
No, was really sick.
Oh, I thought
and
that was an
the
Italian
doctor,
name.
they need penicillin, and we didn't have, and we are very desperate. And I was so desperate that I just ran in the street, and I stopped. The first American I met was him. He helped me. He helped
You
my
always
sister.
carry penicillin around with you?
No, I had to search.
Huh?
I had to look quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
And after I married him.
He handed you the penicillin, then you married him? That's it?
Not exactly.
Oh, well, what happened? You rushed up to him and said what?
I just asked him if he could help me, if you could help to find some
Well, how did you
penicillin.
learn to speak English?
Here,
Here?
Mhm.
How long have you been here?
19 months.
You speak very well for 19 months. You speak as well as I do, and I've been here 100 years. And you got her the penicillin, and then that was it, huh? And then how soon
Well,
after the
that was-
penicillin did you get married?
Oh, quite a while.
Quite a while.
In the
What do you regard as quite a while, I mean?
About a year and a half.
Well, that's a fairly conservative measure. What were you doing when all this happened, Stuart?
I was in public relations in, I've forgotten the number, 461st Bomb Group.
Oh. And what did you do with them?
Oh, I just wrote releases for newspapers back at home on what the exploits of the men who were doing all the work, incidentally, in the airplanes.
Well, I don't know. Your job was an important one, too. Somebody had to do that job.
Yeah, but frankly, my first German was in Fort Dix, New Jersey, when I got back. That's the first one I saw.
You met your first German in Fort Dix? Did he have a revolver with him? Or anything?
No, he had a tray in his hand. He was serving dinner in the mess hall.
Good enough for him, huh? And were all these dispatches that you sent back, were they always truthful? Or were they
Yes.
fancied up a little bit, huh?
No.
No? So, honestly? Yes, sir. Well, when you were courting Adriana, where did you go for excitement?
Oh, where did we go? We went
To
to
the
the...
Colosseum.
Coliseum?
In the moonlight, yes.
Isn't that...
And we went to the Appia Antica, that is a very old street in
That's
Rome.
the Appian Way.
Yes, I don't know what you're saying in
What's it,
English.
all apes there? What is the Appian Way?
It's an ancient road that led from Rome to southern Italy.
Uh-huh. Ah, romantic Italy, huh? The canals in Venice, the Colosseum in Rome, the cheese in Gorgonzola. Now, how old are you, Stuart?
28.
I don't want to get nosy, Adriana, but if you were in Italy now, how old would you be?
25.
I see. And how old was that in America?
25.
We're not making a great deal of progress, Adriana. When you ask how old she is, you speak Italian?
A little.
You ask her how old she is. Go ahead.
Digli che non sono affari suoi.
What'd she say, Stuart?
She says it's none of your business.
Well, it so happens that I speak Italian fluently. And she said she's my age, 31.
No, 25.
Caught you that time, didn't I, huh? Now, Adriana, here is your present from our sponsor, a silver finish compact trimmed in jeweler's bronze. And Stuart, here is your gift, a silver finish cigarette case. They're by Elgin America.
Thanks very much.
It's very beautiful.
You like it, huh?
Very much.
You want to
Very
show it to
beautiful.
the customers out there? Stuart, when you were courting Adriana, what love tokens did you lay at her feet?
Well, there was very few things you could find along that line, I guess. Chocolate, cigarettes, flour.
Every morning
Bread.
you brought her flour, huh?
No, not every morning.
No. What else?
Oh,
That's all?
sometimes canned soup.
Canned soup, flour, and penicillin. Well, what more? What more could a girl want, huh? Where'd you get this stuff? Did they send it to you from home?
Well, not all of it.
I see. You did your shopping at the Army mess hall, huh? You had your own private Marshall Plan, huh?
Yeah.
What was there about Adrian that attracted you most of all, besides the fact that she was a girl and you were a man?
Well, She's attractive and
Yes,
intelligent.
yes, she is, yeah.
I enjoyed being with her. That's
Well,
about
you're
all.
Pretty nice looking
That's
guy
a good enough
yourself,
for you.
Stuart, eh?
Thanks.
For an American. Now, as an Italian war bride, what do you like most about America?
The
Mrs.
freedom.
Hart, do you prefer Mrs. Hart to Adriana?
No, I prefer Adriana.
Adriana, that's named after the sea over there, isn't it?
No.
Adriatic Sea?
Yes, also.
Yes. I should know that I've been around.
I
Used to live in Mulberry Street in New York. That's
what I prefer about America.
Yes, you have very pretty teeth. Did you have those in Italy, too, those teeth?
Yes, but I didn't change in Hollywood.
You didn't switch them, huh?
I
Didn't switch to Calvert or anything?
nothing.
Well, what did you like most about America?
The freedom. That is what everyone in Europe is looking for. So, like an European person, I just what I prefer about everything else in the United States.
You don't mind paying the income tax?
No.
Now, what do you miss most about being away from sunny Italy?
My mother.
Your mother, huh? Is she coming over here, you think?
We hope so, but we also hope to go back.
Oh, you want to live over there? This
I'd
is
like to
after
live,
this long
spend some
speech
time
about
there.
America, huh?
I'd like to spend some time there.
Oh, I see. And what do you dislike most about America, Adriana?
The peeping toms look in the window.
The peeping toms look in the windows?
Yeah.
We had a peeping Tom one time.
You had a
looking in our
peeping tom?
window.
What'd you do with him, huh?
He
Have
got
you still
away.
got him, huh?
No, he got away.
Oh, what was he, below 8 inches and you threw him back again, huh? Now, Stuart, besides Adriana here, what did you like most about Italy?
Oh, I think it's a very beautiful country physically, and
Did you walk on the grapes?
no,
Your bare feet?
no, there were very few grapes, as a
Oh.
matter of fact. I think
Plenty
it-
of bare feet, though, huh?
Plenty.
What did you like most about it?
Oh, I didn't see very much. I saw only as far north as Rome. But Rome is a beautiful city, and there's a lot of beautiful things to see there.
Were you there when they strung up Mussolini?
No, that was in Milan.
Oh. How do American girls compare with Italian girls, Stuart?
I don't think there's any difference.
No, I guess not. Huh? Personally, I'm very fond of Italian girls, particularly those around the Alps. They have such wonderful slopes. Now, as an Italian war bride, what's the most embarrassing experience you ever had, Adriana?
I don't know, I think the day of my marriage, when I was listening to the priest, and I was supposed to repeat what he was telling me. I couldn't. The words were too difficult for me. I was just looking at him and without to do anything else.
One of the lines, as everyone knows, is, "And thereto I plight thee my troth."
I couldn't
She had
say
no
it.
idea what it meant.
And I couldn't say it.
I always thought a troth was where a pig goes. Well, what's the biggest thrill you had, Mrs. Hart?
When I saw the I say English.
Statue of
Oh,
Liberty?
Liberty, yes.
Statue of Liberty, yeah? Well, that's quite a thrill, huh? I know I've been over in Europe 3 times, and every time I come back, when boat comes in the harbor and I see that
No.
old gal standing there, I get a kind of a tingle down my spine. I guess everybody does. Huh? Do you have any customs in Italy that you miss here in America?
Not many. I think I miss Carnival, for instance.
Carnival?
Yes, in Carnival we have plenty of gaiety around and dance and balls. You know, people look happy. Yeah, I was surprised that there was no Carnival here. I didn't know.
Don't you think the people look happy here in America?
They look so happy, like they don't look so happy in any other places in the world.
No. Well, that's without carnivals. Can you imagine
Without
we have
carnival.
Well, do you have any Italian customs that we should adopt in this country, do you think?
Well, I think
Stuart?
one would be, let's see. Well, something I noticed, the whole country goes to sleep from noon until 4 o'clock every day. I think that would be a good idea.
What do you think this audience is doing right now? The United States could never afford to go to sleep all at once. Just think what an opportunity that would be for Congress to pass new tax laws. Suppose I wanted to go to Italy next summer, Adriana. Could you teach me how to speak Italian?
Of course I will. I
Well,
could.
You could. Huh? Well, let's take a little lesson right now. For example, how do I say what time it is?
Che
What
ore
time is it in Italian?
Che ore sono?
Is that right, Stuart?
Yeah.
How do I say, what are you doing tonight, Adriana?
E che cosa pensi di fare questa sera?
No, I don't mean everything you're doing tonight. I mean... Is that right, Stuart?
Yes, that's right.
Now, how do I say, give me a little kiss?
Dammi un piccolo bacio.
Very interesting. Now, tell me, what does that mean in English?
Give me a little kiss.
You keep your nose out of it. And besides, you need a shave. Huh? Well, you're a happy and apparently very happy and attractive couple. Now, invite me to your golden wedding. Huh? We'll have it all in Italy. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to work together for $1,000. But first, George Fenneman has a few words he'd like to say.
I
The
have.
next minute is all yours, George,
Thank you.
if you require a cue
All right. I'm
for anything as banal as this. Where's the airy banal? That's up there.
Have you looked at your compact lately? It calls attention to you every time you use it. And using a has-been is such a blow to the smart impression you want to make. But using an exquisite new Elgin American compact is the best sign in the world that you're on your fashion toes in this all-important accessory. It's so important, in fact, that every woman needs 3 compacts to keep her daytime, sports, and evening clothes in correct character. So look at your compact tonight. And tomorrow, get a new, first-in-fashion Elgin American at any leading jewelry store, department store, or specialty shop. And at the price you want to pay. You'll have the most admired compact you ever owned when it's America's #1 compact, an Elgin American.
Now, let's see if the Italian war bride and her husband will get a chance at the $1,000 question. You're going to play You Bet Your Life. Fenneman, tell them the rules.
Each of our 3 couples has $20. They bet as much of that 20 as they want in each of 4 questions. The couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 question at the end of the show. Our other 2 couples are in a waiting room off stage, so they won't know what goes on until it's their turn.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Famous lover.
Famous lovers. From Italy, that ought to be pretty easy for you. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? How much of the 20 are you going to bet?
I don't know what you want.
Talk right up.
$10.
Talk right up. There's over 300 people listening to you tonight. All over America. No, $10, huh? What famous friend of Caesar's forgot his duty when he fell in love with Cleopatra?
Marc Antonio.
Mark Antony is right.
They're on their way. They have $30.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. Now, how much of the 30 are you going to try this time?
20.
20. Prince Albert married a famous English queen. What was her name?
Victoria.
Queen Victoria.
They now have $50.
Here's your third question. How much of the 50 are you going to try?
30.
30. All right,
No,
and
let's make it 40.
All right.
40,
That's right.
huh?
All right, 40.
Anne Boleyn lost her head over what famous English king?
Henry VIII.
Henry VIII is right.
They're really climbing. They have $90.
You've got $90. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 90 are you going to go for?
Oh,
All of it? All right. Robert Browning eloped with a poetess who lived on Wimpole Street. What was her name?
Elizabeth. What's her name?
Barrett.
Barrett.
Elizabeth Barrett is correct.
And they wind up with $180.
Thanks and good luck from Elgin American Compacts.
Perhaps the next couple will say the secret word, Groucho. It's name. They've been in a waiting room off stage. Okay, boys, bring them in. We invited some efficiency experts to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Reg Kearton and a housewife, Mrs. Mary Adamick, to be his partner. And here they come. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to the Elgin American program, folks. And if either of you say the secret word at any time we're talking, you each win a 16mm Apollo Sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you have with you always. An efficiency expert and a housewife, eh? Mr. Keaton, is that right?
That's right.
Keaton, are you married, Mr. Keaton?
No, I'm not.
And Mary Adamick,
Yes,
you're a housewife?
that's right.
You look very young to be a housewife.
Well, I've just been married.
And very beautiful, too, huh?
Thank you.
Where are you from, Mary?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, huh? And do you have any children?
Not yet, as I said, I was just married.
Just talk a little louder.
All right.
Until you get children, talk a little louder. Mr. Keaton, you're an efficiency expert. Is that right?
Well, I might be called an efficiency expert. Actually, we're called industrial engineers.
Uh-huh. To be efficient, how many children should she have?
Well, I would say the average house has about 1,000 square feet, and each person ought to have
That
about...
would be 500 children.
Each person... No, I'd say each person ought to have about 200 square feet, so an average family of two or couple should have 3 children.
I see. Well, that's a curious way to get a family. Go around measuring the floors. There must be a simpler procedure than that, I'm sure. What does your husband do, Mary?
He's a bartender.
A bartender?
That's right.
And how did you meet him?
Well, I am what is known as the voice of the jukebox. That's a wired music operator who talks to the customers and takes their selection through a series of networks like a radio and magnaphone telephone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And I met him on a furlough when he was home. Didn't recognize me, he didn't remember me, and about 6 months later I recognized his voice over the box. And I thought it was he, but I wasn't sure. So, seems a girl in another location of ours was sending numbers to him. And I didn't know too much about him, but she sent him, "You're Not So Easy to Forget," and he came back and asked me if I had a number called "It Takes Time." So I sent that back to him, and I liked his sense of humor, so I figured I wanted to meet him. So through a series of talks every evening over the box and playing him extra numbers and everything, I decided I was going to go down to the place where he worked. But I had to be a little subtle about it, so I took some friends with me, and we just popped in for a minute and back out again. And when I did meet him, the name Mary didn't mean anything, but I...
well, there wasn't any word that you haven't said in this last 5 minutes. At any rate, Mary, you said name. That means you each win an Apollo 16mm sound movie projector. Now, you're off to a grand start. If your luck keeps up like this, you're quite likely to walk off the stage with over $1,000 tonight. Now, let's get back to business, and we'll cut this story short, huh? Mr. Keaton, as an efficiency expert, where do you work?
I work at Lockheed Aircraft Corporation.
You increase efficiency at Lockheed, huh? How? By making all the lady riveters wear loose fitting slacks?
No, we don't.
Well, just what do you do as an efficiency expert?
Well, we...
You measure the floors for...
We make time and motion studies and develop systems and procedures for efficient manufacture.
Mm-hmm. How do you know whether anybody's wasting time and energy and motion?
We watch them.
Doesn't that make them nervous? Probably
No.
make them more efficient, doesn't it? Inefficient.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't, huh? Well, how long do you stand there and watch them?
Well, it depends on the operation. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes a couple of hours.
You just stand around there for 2 hours doing nothing, huh? You'd be the first guy I'd fire, all right? What Lockheed needs is an efficiency expert to look after the efficiency expert. Now, could you give me an example of how you've improved the efficiency of the Lockheed company?
Yes, we've developed a system whereby we measure the...
Measure the floors, I know that. No, I mean in addition to that.
We measure the individual output of each worker.
Uh-huh. How do you do that?
We do it by a system of paperwork which develops the time that they have taken for each individual operation.
Mm-hmm. You make notes?
No, we don't.
You ask them questions while they're working?
No, we don't.
How many times do you get in his way?
That's part of our job to stay out of the way.
Uh-huh. Well, do they know that you're the efficiency expert?
Yes, they do.
Now, do they speed it up when they see you coming along?
Sometimes they do.
Uh-huh. And the minute you leave? They're right back on overtime, huh? How much time did you finally save the company by correcting this particular situation? Huh?
Well, we've developed a saving of about 300 man-hours a day in this particular section.
And what did they do with those 300 hours?
We put them to work with it.
You put the 300 hours away until you need them, huh? Well, just to show you how efficient I am, here are your gifts from our sponsor. For our efficiency expert, a handsome silver-finished cigarette case, and for Mrs. Adamic, a smart, round compact in 2 tones of jeweler's bronze.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They're
Thank
both
you.
by Elgin American. Mrs. Adamic, you like that, huh?
Beautiful.
Now, Mrs. I'll call you Mary, huh?
All right.
I'm sick of that last name. You've been a housewife for a number of years. Would you say you're efficient?
Yes, I would.
As an expert, do you think the average housewife is efficient,
No,
Mr. Keaton?
I do not.
Well, how do you know? Have you ever been a housewife?
No, but I've watched quite a few work.
You mean while they're measuring the floors? Well, you're a sort of a professional peeping Tom, huh? My Aunt Minnie has a very efficient system of dishwashing. She just sets the dishes on the floor and lets the dog in. Anything wrong with that system?
Well, I think it'd be rather unhealthy, wouldn't it?
He's the healthiest dog in Pittsburgh. Healthiest dog in... Now, you ask me what color the dog is.
What color is the dog?
I don't know. We've never had him out of Pittsburgh. I get tired of lampooning our own smog out here. Now, how does the average housewife waste time and energy, Mr. Keaton? For example, in washing dishes.
Well, probably not by having all the things that she needs in the same place when she's ready to start washing dishes.
Well, like what? I mean, what
Well,
is...
such as the soap powder and the dish rag and the dish pan.
How about it, Mary? Do you have all those things together?
Not always.
Not always. What do you just have the jukebox and you put the dishes in there? Now, do you think the average housewife wastes a lot of time around the house?
Yes, I do.
And how could that be remedied in your mind?
Well, I think perhaps one of the most inefficient things that a housewife does is run up and down the stairs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think perhaps that they might do all the work on the second floor before they get down to the first floor. And then when they get down there to do their work, just stay there.
And suppose the baby starts crying upstairs. You still stay downstairs?
Yes, I think it would.
You would. Huh? Now, will you be sure to follow that advice, Mary?
Well, there's just one trouble.
What is it?
We don't have enough stairs.
Well, you just streamlined the efficiency expert here. You pinned his ears back, huh? Now, Mr. Keaton, in a few words, what is the secret of efficiency?
Save motion.
Mm-hmm. My Uncle Julius saves motion every Saturday night. He gets paralyzed. Now, does that theory apply to all housework, Mr. Keaton?
I would say yes, it does.
Have you ever tried walking the baby at night and still save motion?
No, I haven't.
No. Just what do you mean by saving motion? I mean, just stay on one floor regardless of what's on the other floor, huh? Well, you make a very interesting team. Now, you're going to play You Bet Your Life, the Elgin American game, for $1,000. If you're efficient, then you'll win it. If you run your $20 and more than our other couples, you get a chance at the $1,000 question later. Fenneman, remind our listeners how much the first couple won. Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. What question category did you select?
Nicknames for popular musicians.
That's right. Now, your 4 questions pay even money. How much will you bet on the first one?
10.
10? That all right with you,
That's
Mr.
all right.
Keaton? What orchestra leader is known as the Sentimental Gentleman?
Tommy Dorsey.
Tommy Dorsey is right.
They're on their way with $30.
All right. Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. Who is known... how much of the 30 are you going to bet this time?
25.
25. Does that suit
That's
you?
satisfactory.
Fine. Now, who is known as the poet of the piano? You can tell
Carmen
me.
Cavallaro.
Carmen Caballero.
Carmen Caballero is right.
They now have $55.
Pretty sharp efficiency, man. Eve, got $55. How much you going to try for now?
50.
50? You're going to bet nearly all of it, huh? Who is known as the 20th century Gabriel? It's a tough one. Take a guess.
Louis Armstrong?
No, I'm sorry. It's Erskine Hawkins.
They now have $5.
Well, you've sunk all the way down there. You're right down that basement that you were talking about before. Now, here's your last chance. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 5 are you going to bet? You're going to shoot the works. All right. Who is known as the old professor?
Kay Kaiser.
Kay Kaiser is right.
And they wind up with a grand total of $10.
Thanks and good luck from Belgian American Compacts. Now, in just 1 minute, our last couple will play You Bet Your Life, and then Lowe gets the crack at the $1,000 question. Fenneman, it's your turn.
If there's one thing that really glamorizes a bedroom, it's a new Elgin American dresser set. Exquisitely designed, finished with a jewel-like beauty, perfectly crafted in every detail, nylon bristles, hand-cut combs, extra clear reflection from the specially ground mirrors. And an Elgin American dresser set makes an unusually thoughtful, welcome gift, one you'll be remembered by for a long, long time. Many of these dresser sets have matching powder jars, too, with or without music when the cover is on. So, for yourself or for gifts, see how easily these dresser sets are priced. In jeweler's bronze, silver finish, and sterling silver. Inside, you'll feel a special splendor when your bedroom is set off with the special charm of an exquisite new dresser set by Elgin American.
Well, we'll soon know who's going to earn the most money and get the chance at the $1,000 question. George, who's leading so far?
Well, the Italian war bride and her husband are ahead with $180.
Uh-huh.
And here's our final couple, Groucho. They've been in a waiting room off stage, so they don't know the secret word is name. Okay, boys, bring them in. We invited some women attorneys and some city jailers to the show tonight, and here's the couple selected for the studio audience just before we went on the air. Lawyer Florence Anderson and jailer Tom Bauman meet Groucho Marx.
Hello, folks. Welcome for Elgin American Compacts. And if either of you say the secret word at any time we're talking, you'll each win a 16-millimeter Apollo Sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you always have with you. A lady lawyer and a jailer, eh? Husky guy, yeah. Thomas Bauman, is that the way you pronounce it?
That's right, Groucho.
Bauman or Bauman?
Bauman.
Where are you from, Tom?
Born in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
How'd you meet your wife?
Well, I was working as a stock clerk.
As a what?
As a stock clerk in a dime store on vacation.
Stock clerk, is that?
Yes.
Oh.
Merchandise, not stocks and bonds.
I see. I thought it was the stockyards, man. And?
So there was a bunch of merchandise piled on a shelf immediately back of where she was working, and in attempting to remove it, I really doused her up with the merchandise and got told off. That's how I met my wife.
And?
Married the gal.
How did that lead to marriage?
Well, I chased
Just like
her...
the way she bawled you out, is that it?
Just about it.
Masochist, huh? Do you have any little chips off the old cell block?
Yes, 2 and 1 on the way.
Measuring floors, eh? Where do you do your jail keeping?
At Lincoln Heights Jail.
How long have you been in Lincoln Heights Jail?
I've been over there 2 years.
How'd you get out tonight? Was your wife with you?
No, she's home.
She's home? How'd you get out tonight?
Well, kind of sneaked out.
Miss Anderson? Are you married, Mrs. Anderson?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not.
I'm not married.
Single lawyer, huh?
I am.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth?
I do.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, Felix Frankfurter? Huh?
I
How old are you, Miss Anderson?
do. The question is irrelevant and immaterial.
Objection overruled. How old are you, Miss Anderson?
Around 35.
In what phase of the law do you specialize, Miss Anderson?
Probate and civil.
Do you stand up in court and make long, you should pardon the expression, impassioned speeches?
I do.
Or do you just prepare cases, huh?
I do both.
You do? Would you talk a little louder, Mrs. Anderson? That's now, just to keep on the good side of the law, I've got perfect presents for each of you. A silver finish compact for our jailer's wife and another just like it for the lady lawyer. They're by Elgin American.
Thank you. They're beautiful.
Well, you're quite welcome. And,
It's a beautiful compact, Groucho. Thanks a million.
there's nothing at all, Tom. Just forget about it. That's all. Now, jailer, don't show that compact around your jailhouse. Some of the prisoners might want to take a powder. What are your duties at Lincoln Heights Jail, Tom?
Well, I receive incoming prisoners after they've been processed and fingerprinted, and they remain in my custody until they're released.
And where do you keep your prisoners?
In large tanks.
Where?
Tanks.
Tanks? You're welcome,
Tanks.
huh? You keep your prisoners in tanks. No wonder they had to get bailed out, huh? What are they, goldfish?
No, a tank is just a...
What is a tank? That isn't
Well-
like an old prize fighter whose name I don't want to mention anymore. I'm sure he can't sue on that, huh? I wouldn't even mention a piece of canvas anymore, huh? I've shot canvasback ducks in my time, huh? How many guests can you accommodate, Mr. Bauman?
Oh, we can squeeze in between 350 and 400.
I've heard about your hospitality. I understand you even send a station wagon to pick up the guests. Is that right?
City shovel service.
City shovel service? Shuttle?
Shuttle.
Oh, shuttle service. When is your busy season, Tom?
Well, it seems to run during the colder of the winter months, Groucho.
Well, why is that?
Well, it seems it's an awful strong attraction over there as far as place to sleep and 3 squares and particularly out of the weather.
Do you have any steady customers?
Yes, we have several. The one that I have in mind, why, he has 395 prior drunk arrests over the last period of years.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to just put him on the payroll? and charge him rent? Now, as a lady lawyer, Miss Anderson, do you have any advantages over a male attorney? Besides the obvious ones, I mean.
No, I don't.
You don't, huh? Well, when you take a case to court, what do you do before you arrive in court?
Go through the details with my client, talk to her witnesses, prepare the pleadings, file them. Sometimes there's consultation with attorneys for the opposing side. And finally...
A little louder, Miss Anderson.
Finally, if the court requests it, I file my briefs.
You carry an extra pair? Do you just... Now, Miss Anderson, do you prefer to argue a case before a judge or a jury?
Well, if it's a question of fact and emotion, I prefer a jury. And if it's a question of law, I prefer a judge.
You think a judge is more accurate with jurisprudence than 12 men good and true? Or a sordid 6 and 6?
When it's a question of law, I do.
You do, huh? What kind of a case do you prefer, criminal, civil, or probate?
Probate and civil.
What is probate? Is that what the professional fishermen use when they go fishing?
It's the administration of...
What is it?
It's the administration of estates, the preparation of wills, and guardianship matters.
Oh, I see. And what has been your most embarrassing experience as an attorney?
Well, I might say that on my
Do you
first...
listen to Joyce Jordan at all?
Judge Jordan?
Oh, no, she's intern. Go on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I think probably my first case, I failed to sign my papers when I got up in court. My clients were there. The judge called me up and told me my pleadings were proper for me to come up and take a look at them. And he asked me if I thought I ought to sign them. I signed them, and we proceeded with our case. I did feel very much embarrassed.
Is this anything like the brief thing?
It's almost.
Now, Tom, jailer, has anybody ever escaped from your pokey?
Well, you might say on a rare occasion we get one of them that goes AWOL for a short period.
Uh-huh. You always nail him, though?
Most of the time.
Uh-huh. My Uncle Julius has been up the river so often he looks like a salmon. Now, what kind of food do you provide at your hostelry?
Well, in all seriousness, Groucho, there's nothing fancy about the food, but it's plain...
I can well believe that.
It's plain solid.
I'm sure it isn't Romanov's.
No, not
It's
quite.
plain solid?
Plain and solid, but good and...
Well, what, for example? What would be an average dinner?
Well, an average dinner of beans, naturally, is a big staple over there. And,
You're laughing. You don't eat it, huh?
And we also serve them a very nutritious stew.
Is that the fellow that's been in so many times?
No, it's a stew with meat in it.
Oh, I thought that was the other stew you were referring to. And that's stew and beans?
Stew, beans, bread, fruit, coffee. I say there's nothing fancy about the chow
No baked
over there.
Alaska or anything like that?
No, we're getting around to that.
You are. In the cold months, I suppose. Now, what about sleeping accommodations? Could I get a room there with southern exposure?
I think you could.
I might take you up on that some winter's day, eh? Now, what has been your most exciting experience as a jailer?
Well, I've had several. You might say that one night, had two fellows come in that were under the influence of narcotics. We put them in a small cell waiting processing. There were about 8 or 10 other prisoners in there, and these fellows became very belligerent and boisterous and excited these other men to the point where they figured that they were all going out with or without our permission. There were about 5 officers that were working in a particular room, and about the only thing that really saved that situation from getting very serious was the fact that they could only get through that tank door about 2 at a time. We brought it under control, but it could have had very serious consequences.
I like the way he says we brought it under control, huh? I can imagine these two coming out 2 by 2, huh? I bet they were stacked a mile high there, weren't they? Now, what was your biggest mistake, jailer?
Well, do you mean in private life or
Yeah,
as far as jail
anytime.
work is
I don't
concerned?
I don't care. You can take either part of it as far as I'm concerned.
Well, a mistake and kind of an embarrassing situation. And
That's what we want.
Night that I walked out of the 4th-story window of a hotel in my sleep.
That's all you had on, just your sleep?
Well, practically, I had on a pair of skivvy shorts, and that was about it due to the heat. I fell on a roof next door, and somebody hauled up a window and says somebody must have fell out of their window. A very accommodating young woman raised up her window and let me walk through her room. I made the corridor attired in this pair of shorts, very nonchalantly rang for the elevator, and went back up to my room. I really shocked the devil out of that hotel, quite unconsciously.
Were you single at the time?
Yes, I was single.
And you went right through that other room, huh? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ever find weapons among your prisoners?
Yes, we do. During the
what
course.
kind?
Well, during the course of search, Groucho, you have to find most anything from a gun occasionally to a knife. But the favorite weapon on the incoming fellow seems to be a long-bladed can opener for some reason or another.
Well, there's nothing better to open a can than a can opener. Now, Miss Anderson, will you take the stand? Let's see how good a lawyer you are. Huh? You pretend I'm a witness for the prosecution. Now, last Thursday, I saw your client rob the bank on Hollywood Boulevard at 3 a.m. Now, go ahead. Shake my testimony.
What were you doing at
Don't
the Hollywood
shake it too hard. I'll fall apart, huh?
What were you doing at Hollywood Boulevard 3 o'clock in the morning?
Well, I tried Sunset, and I wasn't having any luck over there.
Have you ever been arrested?
What were you doing there at 3 o'clock in the morning? Yes, I was once arrested, yes.
How do you know it was my client? Is your eyesight good?
Of course it is.
How do you know it was 3 o'clock in the morning?
Of course, I have very good eyesight.
Did you have a watch along, time yourself?
Yes.
And did you make a note of the day it was there?
No, but I looked at the watch, and the watch said 5:15. And when my watch says 5:15, it's 3 o'clock. Now, jailer, as an impartial observer of this trial, what's your opinion? Am I a good witness?
Where I said, I think you robbed a bank.
Well, the moral to this story is crime doesn't pay unless you're a jailer or a lawyer. Well, you make an interesting couple, and Jailer Bauman, despite my kidding, I know your job is a serious one. I hope we never meet again sometime. Now, let's see how you two can work together. You're the last couple to play You Bet Your Life. You beat the other two couples, and you get the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much they won, but George is off stage to remind our listeners. Here we go. Let's see how high you can build you $20. What question category did you select?
We'd like to try the famous events in American history.
That's right. All right, you've got $20, and here's your first question. How much of the 20 are you going to shoot for?
$10?
$10. In 1773, a group of Americans disguised as Indians destroyed the cargo on 3 British ships. What was this event called?
Boston Tea Party.
Boston Tea Party is correct.
You now have $30.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the 30 are you going to chance?
25?
25. In 1836, a group of gallant Texans were massacred while fighting for Texas independence. Where did this event take place?
The Alamo.
The Alamo is right.
And on their way, they have $55.
I was there with Davy Crockett myself. You now have $55. Here's your third question. How much you going to bet?
50?
All right. In 1814, Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner while the fort defending Baltimore was under fire. What was the name of the fort?
Fort McHenry.
Fort McHenry is correct.
They now have $105.
Why, you're going through this like Robert Sherwood. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 105 you going to go for?
$100? Shoot the word.
$100.
$100.
$100. Alexander Hamilton fought a duel with the Vice President of the United States. Who was the opponent who shot and killed Hamilton?
Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr is correct.
And they wind up with a grand total of $205. And that means that the woman attorney and the city jailer with $205 gets the chance at the $1,000 question. Remember, the name Elgin American is your assurance of the finest compacts and dresser sets you could own or give the next time a gift is due. Also, Elgin American's new American Beauty compacts and cigarette cases are real discoveries for just $2.95, $3.95, and $4.95. So always look for, ask for, and get the name that means the most because it gives the most, Elgin American. And here's the winning couple, the woman attorney and the city jailer.
Well, back again to try for $1,000 of Elgin American's money, eh? Good luck. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you, so talk it over thoroughly, and no help in the audience, please. Here it is for $1,000 in cash. For whose death was the Liberty Bell tolling when it cracked on the morning of July 8, 1835? This man was one of the greatest in American history. Now, what is the answer you two have decided upon?
Take a chance on it. I think it was Washington.
No, I'm sorry. It was Chief Justice John Marshall. The bell has never rung since. I'm sorry, it was a tough question.
Missed that one.
Because that means the big question next week will be worth $1,500. Congratulations and thanks to both of you. And anyway, you won $205 in cash, which ain't hay.
The Elgin American Show, You Bet Your Life, is a John Goodell production, transcribed from Hollywood, directed by Bob Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. Remember, next week's big question pays $1,500. Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this time for You Bet Your Life, starring Groucho Marx, presented by the creators of America's most beautiful compacts, smartest cigarette cases, and finest dresser sets, Elgin American.
Good night, folks. Have you looked at your compact lately?
Brother and I are the ones that have the lead. Are you about the same? We don't care. We're just as well